makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part.
It's Saturday, so let's do something a bit lighter. This is a tweet from Emma Vigeland, who is one of the co-hosts of the Majority Report, and I thought it was kind of funny because I agree with it. It might be a bit controversial. So the tweet is regarding the signs that have becoming more and more popular. Started seeing them a couple of months ago, and clearly they're a thing now. It says, in this house, we believe Black Lives Matter, women's rights are human rights, no human is illegal, science is real, love is love, kindness is everything. And she writes, these signs are for losers. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I do think they're for losers, and let me explain why. First of all, this is just cringe. Like, it's cringe. I mean, I believe in everything that is said in the sign. You know, no caveats, no disclaimers. Black lives do matter. Women's rights are human rights. Trans rights are human rights as well. I've seen some signs that say that. No human is illegal. Yeah, I'm for immigration. I believe in science. Love is love, regardless of your sexual orientation or gender expression. And yes, we should be kind to people, except people on Twitter. Fuck people on Twitter. So yeah, I believe in this wholeheartedly. But it's cringe because it's basically just virtue signaling. It's basically just shoving values down other people's throats, and I don't think that is the best way of persuading them to believe in these things, which are things we all should believe in. The other reason why I dislike this sign is because there is really no material cost to believing any of this. So it's kind of, this is all free. You can't really say that you're working for any of this just by believing it. And I think it would be much more effective if you showed that you're willing to make a sacrifice for these things, because there's no guarantee that someone who puts this in their yard sign is going to use their house as like a shelter for illegal immigrants or for homeless people or some other vulnerable minority. So a more effective sign would be, for example, I am willing to accept higher taxes so that we can fund public services like Medicare for all. That'd be a good one. It shows you're willing to give something up. I would be a supreme hypocrite, for example, if I supported an egalitarian society in my country and yet would not be willing to accept, say, Scandinavian levels of taxation, which I would. So, yeah. Another sign that I think would be useful. I'm willing to have my child's inheritance taxed so that other children, poorer children, could eventually go to college. That's a good one. Again, big sacrifice. What else? I am a small business owner and I pay my most poorly paid employee $20 an hour. There. All of these imply that you're accepting some cost over what you believe in rather than this. Now, let's look at some of the comments, which are pretty funny. Notice how they never mention fair wages, healthcare as a right, decent housing, etc. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Usually agree with you, but this is pretty judgmental of you. Lots of people, including my family, have these signs in our red state of Ohio as a display of solidarity and a way to demonstrate a safe space for those that need it. Losers are those who don't fight for these words. You're not fighting for them just by putting that yard sign. If it creates like a small safe space, yeah, fine. But you're still not going the distance. You're still not showing that you're willing to fight for any of these things. Again, what's the proof that you've used your house as a homeless shelter, for example, or housed illegal immigrants? Rare. This is a good one. Rare to see that without its companion sign. Vote no on Proposition X. No shelters in this neighborhood. And some guy replied with exactly that. So there's a sign: stop the Weston Whopper. 275 apartments and 565 cars near Weston High School. But Black Lives Matter. So yeah, please don't allow low-income housing anywhere near me or my kids. When I see things like this, my logical conclusion is that the grand majority of these signs are not really leftists, but actually just liberal centrists. Because liberal centrists love the aesthetics of wokeness, but they don't care at all about the issues that actually help people. They just love the symbolism of it. They don't care about people, let's be honest. This one, on this drone, we believe Black Lives Matter, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that is also very similar. I mean, this is a variant of what is, without a doubt, one of my favorite memes of all time. This one. I love this meme. I'm going to one day make a poster out of it and frame it in my house because I think it epitomizes US foreign policy, the differences between the two parties, or rather lack thereof. You know, I'm sorry, poor Syrian child whose parents have been blown up by an airstrike, but rest assured that the drone operator was trans. Yeah, that's pretty much it. My neighbor gave me one of these signs and I put it up because I feel obligated, but I hate it. Yeah, peer pressure. This is kind of like having to wear the poppy in Britain around Armistice Day, because if you're the one who doesn't wear it, everyone looks at you like you're like a freaking Al Qaeda supporter. If my neighbor put this sign on, I would use this one just to piss him off. In this house, we believe that simplistic platitudes, trite tautologies, and semantically overloaded aphorisms are poor substitute for respectful and rational discussions about complex issues. That's a good one. I like that one. A loser here. Every block in my neighborhood has 4 or 5 of these, and I love living among people who think this needs to be expressed. We can never go wrong with kindness or its expression. Well, if your neighborhood already has 4 or 5 of these, why do you need another one? You're pretty much living in a liberal neighborhood, so you're just preaching to the choir again. Virtue signaling, total virtue signaling. I have a neighbor with this sign in their yard, but when some homeless family was squatting in an abandoned house nearby, guess who sounded the social media alarm about the danger the entire neighborhood was put in by them not having them loudly and forcibly removed? This was totally another liberal centrist. Like I said, just they love the aesthetics of this. When it actually involves helping people, they don't care. They don't care. The house across the street from me has a massive F-150 with one of those blue line Punisher skull flags flying off the back, so I really don't want to hear anyone complain about liberal signs. So again, if you are living in Trump land and you put one of these as a kind of, you know, either because you want to troll the MAGA people, or you want to give some impression that this is a safe place where there's other people who aren't crazy Trumpistas, fine by me. Having said that, if one of my neighbors had a freaking pickup truck with a giant Punisher blue line flag, I would automatically conclude that he is batshit fucking insane, and that he probably has a room in his house full of dozens of high caliber weapons, which I would assume that he would be willing to use against me at some point. So no, I do not intend to die for the virtue signaling of a yard sign. And I would recommend, if this guy is your neighbor or someone very similar, think twice about, for your own sake. I don't want people to die just because of a yard sign. So yeah, those signs are for those who can't make the connection between Black Lives Matter and Amazon labor exploitation. Pretty much. Yeah, so let's just be clear again. I don't think this is the way that we should persuade people, because usually when you try this method of shoving values down other people's throats, they're just gonna double down. They're not gonna believe in these things, and it's basically just you thinking that you are more morally superior to people who don't believe it. And yes, I would agree that you are. I mean, I think someone who doesn't think that Black Lives Matter, or who doesn't think that women's rights are human rights, who doesn't believe in science in the middle of a pandemic, yeah, you're not on the same moral universe as I am. That's a fact. But again, my interest would be in persuading them to be, and I don't think this is the way. This is not the way to engage in any way. And also, we have to accept that there are some people who will never be convinced. that pickup truck guy, he's not going to be convinced. I can assure you that he won't be. And with people like that, what we really have to do is eventually turn them into a minority. And the way to do this is by creating the type of society where people maybe slightly less radical than he is will realize, oh, this is a better society than the one that I want. That is why I think we should fight fascism with socialism, not in a kind of battle of ideas, especially on Twitter with random people. No, I think we need to establish these policies. We need to enact these policies so that then people like pickup truck guy can live in that society and realize that it's superior to the society that he wanted. That's how we win, not with a freaking yard sign. So, with that said, if you enjoyed this video, please like, please share, please subscribe, most importantly. And if you live next to pickup truck guy, don't put this yard sign. Trust me. I want you to live. Don't die for the sake of virtue signaling. On that note, enjoy your weekend.